Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Carol Jeanette from Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I hope you're doing well. This morning, it's very warm and humid here, which is an interesting change. Our connections coordinator, Jody Adorio, forwarded a short video to me and the other staff members. It's one that she ran across in one of our Synod's Facebook groups. And I can't resist sharing it with you, especially in light of yesterday's contemplation and the email from the church council. The title of this video is, So You Want to Go Back to Church? It's done by a Presbyterian pastor, Ryan Landino, and it puts a little bit of a humorous spin on this difficult topic in a difficult time.
So, you want to go back to church. What do you say we imagine a little bit about what that might look like? Hello everybody, welcome to First Presbyterian Church. Unless you have the COVID, or if you have a cough, then you're not welcome. So we called our insurance company to ask if we could do this, and if we do not comply with CDC guidelines, our premiums will go up. You'll notice that every other pew is roped off. You cannot sit there. Yes, I know that is your great-grandmother's pew. No, you cannot sit there. I'm sorry, what? Are we shaking hands during passing of the peace? All who believe were together and had all things in common. Because we can't congregate over more than X amount of people, we're going to ask that you immediately stop praying for more worshipers. Yes, and even though we opened first, you, church across the street, you folks can't come here, worship here. Because if you do, what I will do is not know what to do because I wouldn't know what to say. Naturally, we require the use of masks, hand sanitizers, and temperature checks, but we will not be able to provide for any of that for you. There will not be any congregational singing today. Why? Mortal invisible! That's why. We are having communion today, but in order to abide by 6 feet of social distancing, today is BYOC. I hope you brought your own stuff, because if you didn't, we can't do anything for you. Yes, many of you asked us about resuming in-person worship as soon as the restrictions lifted. Can we do that? Yes. Should we?
I love the end of this video. Can we go back? He asks. Yes. Should we? Pastor Landino's facial expressions pretty much mirror mine anytime I think about that question. You can see, yes, but. Yeah, at Lord of Life, we're still working on it, and we'll keep you informed on things. But I'd ask that you keep all church leaders in your prayers as we struggle through this. Now, I want to shift for a couple minutes from questions about reopening, which seem to hold an underlying assumption that the goal here is to get everything back to normal. And normal is whatever we think it was at our most glorious and exciting moment in history. But more and more, I'm thinking that one of the gifts coming out of this virus, one of the things that God offers as grace during this rough time, is an opportunity for us to rethink church. I finally got to a book that has been out for a couple years. It's one that I'd heard about but just had never read. The title of the book is Canoeing the Mountains, Christian Leadership in Uncharted Territory. The author is a pastor, now a seminary vice president, I think, named Todd Bolsinger. So bear with me a minute while I set the scene for this book. Think back in your American history. Do you remember the Louisiana Purchase? It was negotiated in 1803 by President Thomas Jefferson, and this Louisiana territory stretched from the Mississippi in the east to the Rocky Mountains in the west. That's a pretty big territory. Now, President Jefferson tasked Meriwether Lewis and William Clark with exploring that territory. And believe me, it didn't have I-90 and I-80 and I-70 going across it at that point. Their journey was about 8,000 miles, and took a couple years. Now, back to Pastor Bolsinger. He used Lewis and Clark's journey into the wilderness as a framework for thinking about the journey of the church right now. One of the 5 vital lessons he identifies as absolutely necessary for every leader of a Christian congregation or organization is this: the world in front of you is nothing like the world behind you. The world in front of Lewis and Clark when they went into that wilderness territory was nothing like the world they had left. Bolsinger published this book a couple years ago, long before COVID-19 reared its ugly head. And he was right then. I think we do need to rethink church. But the situation now with COVID-19 only affirms that thinking. The world in front of us is nothing like the world behind us. But what it is that we are about as Christians, that doesn't change. That's central. It's the way we go about it that's going to look different as we move into the world in front of us. I wonder if we think about this new world and our movement into it as an adventure, how does that shift the way we look at it? And really, it's still God's world. We're still God's children. The world still needs the love and the hope that is found in Christ. Adventure. During the coming week, I'm going to work my way through Canoeing in the Wilderness. If you're interested, the book is available on Amazon. I've downloaded it on my Kindle. I would love to have a conversation with you about some of these ideas. And if you're thinking, oh no, this is just for church leaders, well, church is not just the building, and all Christians, all people are in this new situation. It might be worth reading and talking about, maybe figuring out together how we chart our way in a new world, whether that's a congregation or a family or an individual. My friends, I hope that you have an adventurous and healthy weekend, even if the adventure is only in your head. Peace be with you in these days. Bye.